Howdy folks, I'm Harsh Hot Chocolate, hot-headedly haranguing hapless harpsichords.
I'm Amber.
And here are more harpsichords for us to harangue, because we can, that's why. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to share my special recipe with my cousin who wants to use it for her business? So here's the deal. I'm an 18-year-old female and I have this amazing dessert recipe that I came up with after months of experimenting in the kitchen. It's a unique twist on a classic treat, and everyone who tries it says that it's incredible. My family always asks me to make it for gatherings, and honestly, I take a lot of pride in how much people really love it. Recently, my cousin Jess, a 24-year-old female, started a small baking business from home. She has been doing pretty well, and I'm happy for her. Last week, at a family dinner, Jess pulled me aside and asked if I would give her the dessert recipe so that she could add it to her menu. I was flattered at first, but I told her that I wasn't comfortable sharing it because it's really personal to me. It's my thing, you know? Jess didn't take it well. She said that I was being selfish, and that it's not like I'm starting a business or anything. So why should I hoard the recipe? She even got my aunt, her mother, involved, who called me later and said that I should support family and not be so stingy. I explained that I wasn't trying to be mean, but I worked really hard to create that recipe, and it's something that I'm really proud of. Now, half my family is calling me petty, and the other half is staying out of it. Jess posted a vague rant on Facebook about how people gatekeep creativity and how it's impossible to get ahead with unsupportive people. My mom says that I should have just given her the recipe to keep the peace, but I don't think that I'm in the wrong here. So am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. If she wants the recipe, she can pay for it. I mean, that's how businesses operate, is that they want your intellectual property. They will usually either pay you for it outright or they'll give you a share of the profits they make from it.
Yeah, a licensing fee, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if OP wants to license out this recipe, they can. I think that OP spent a lot of time and energy on making this. And if OP can put a special twist on a treat, on a sweet treat that is a classic, then Jess can do that as well. I mean, she's a cook, a baker. I don't know, and so she can actually reverse engineer OP's recipe if she really wants to.
Yeah, it just seems like she doesn't want to put the time and energy in. She just wants to take the recipe outright, which isn't fair to OP.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Jess's restaurant or business isn't doing as well as she claims it is.
It might very well not be, and she thinks that this will be the thing that gives her a leg up.
Yeah,
But she has to be able to do some of the experimentation herself, or be willing to pay people for their recipes.
yeah. I mean, my advice to OP here is maybe make a fake recipe and that's close to what OP makes, and then give it to Jess. That way, when she makes it, isn't quite the same. But that way, OP can maintain their intellectual property and just say, well, that's the way I make it.
Yeah, my concern with that is that the family might get upset if it doesn't come out the way. Like, even if OP were to give the recipe, if it doesn't come out the same way, the family's gonna accuse OP of trying to ruin her business. And
Well, but that's Jess's problem at that point in time, right? I mean, Jess can make a batch and she can decide if she likes it as much as OP's or not, right? So again, like, this is a matter of Jess needs to kind of figure things out on her own and to come up with her own versions of recipes, or even offer to pay OP a licensing fee. I think that would be fair, or buy the recipe outright. I mean, certainly, like, money does have incentives. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Sam Bam, thank you Sam, too, says, not a jerk. If this were tech or music or a different industry, no one would expect you to give up your successful creation for someone else's profit. You developed this. This has gotten you success and praise and a sense of accomplishment within the family. If she takes this and makes it part of her business, will she start showing up with these treats and taking credit? It just sounds like she is fine with messing you over just to get her small business off the ground. And ah geez, what now says, OP should say, sure, for 50% of the profit. And Competitive COD 3843 says, in the olden days, people would have shared recipes when asked, but critically made some changes to the recipe for the recipient, or an ingredient left out, a different amount of something that makes a difference. Hoarding recipes is a time-honored tradition, and you are under no obligation to share. I also have recipes that I don't share. Sometimes people ask, and the closest I get is making some vague speculation about sharing in the future. Your recipes are your recipes, not the jerk. And Weekly Serve 1237 says, my grandma did this to all of her recipe cards. She had me stand at her hip and she made each one of her special family dishes, giggling and winking at me whenever she went off script. When she passed, my sister-in-law thought that she scored when she got her grubby mitts on the recipe box, but nothing turned out right. So I asked for the box and I made the stuff like Grandma did and proved that there was nothing wrong with the recipes as written. So her smug butt was branded with the Terrible Cook title. She was terrible all around anyways. So ha. I mean, at least it's not as bad as that. That's some petty level.
Yeah.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Making My Boyfriend's Mom Cry Over Lasagna? I'm a 25-year-old female, and I've been dating my boyfriend, a 27-year-old male, for about a year. And things have been going great, except for one issue, his mom. She is very opinionated and insists on being the best cook in the family. A few nights ago, she invited us over for dinner and served her famous lasagna. The problem is that it wasn't good at all. It was watery, undercooked, and somehow flavorless, despite being covered in cheese. My boyfriend whispered to me that his mom is super sensitive about her cooking, so I politely ate a small portion and I said that it was nice. Later, his mom asked me point blank if her lasagna was the best that I've ever had. I tried to dodge the question, but she kept pressuring me. Finally, I said that it was good, but my grandma's lasagna is my favorite. She taught me how to make it. Her face immediately dropped, and she didn't say much for the rest of the night. The next day, my boyfriend told me that she cried after we left and felt humiliated. Now he's upset with me for not lying to her. I feel bad, but I didn't think that saying that my grandma's lasagna is my favorite was that offensive. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, how offensive was this?
Not offensive. I mean, I think Opie handled it with plenty of tact,
Decorum.
If you don't want to potentially hear that your food is not the best, do not come right out and ask, it's like in Snow White, the mirror, mirror thing, and then she gets outraged that she's not the fairest of them all anymore.
I mean, it's such a petty thing to get upset about. Like, people are going to have preferences, right? And like, when I've made my grandma's apple pie, people will always tell me that it's great, but it's not as good as my grandma's apple pie, right? And I'm fine with that, right? I mean, people are going to have preferences about how a pie is baked or something like that, and dishes are going to be slightly different depending on who makes them. And you can't be upset just because you didn't make something as good as someone else, right?
Well, yeah, you're right. Like, everything is subjective and everyone has different taste buds, when it comes to food. There is no one food that every single person on this planet loves. And so it's time for mother-in-law to accept that she is not a perfect cook. There's no such thing as a perfect cook. She's not going to be the best cook for everyone on this planet.
Well, and none of these people are doing her any favors here.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that. I was trying to figure out the way to say that, but that's exactly what I was trying to get at. Because, she is a full-grown adult. This isn't like a 5-year-old making like toast for you. And of course you're like, oh yeah, this is great toast because they're 5. This is a full-grown adult with adult children who has been coddled the entire time because people are afraid of her getting her feelings hurt.
Yeah, if you're going to ask for constructive criticism, then you have to be willing to take constructive criticism. OP didn't say anything here that was, like a hit below the belt. She wasn't like, your pasta was the worst I've ever had, right? She just said that her grandma's was slightly better. So, I mean, even that was just, her ego is so fragile that she can't even take that, right? Which isn't even a criticism. And I feel bad for these people because they're sitting around eating terrible food that she's cooking.
Just to appease her.
Instead of being like, oh, yeah, maybe you should actually cook the pasta, right? And she has taste buds. Surely she can taste that the food isn't that great. Like, when I cook something and I've messed it up, I know when I've messed it up, right? I'm like, yeah, maybe adding this ingredient wasn't such a great idea this time around.
Yeah, well, I'm like, you can give criticism tactfully, and it's important to be able to accept that. Like, Because there'll be times when, Brian does a lot of his recipes just kind of like, he's really good at estimating how much. He doesn't have set recipes, but sometimes things will come out slightly different. And I can be like, oh, it's missing this, or maybe it needs a little less of this, or something like that. And it's not like I'm slamming him or something. It's just like a little tweak. But this woman can't handle even the slightest hint of criticism.
Yeah, and I think that's really too bad, because there's no way to grow or improve when you live in a vacuum like that. And you really do need other people to help you and move you forward. You can't be the best at something without any growth. You can't just pop and be the best.
Well, and even people who are really good, they're like, that's one thing I've learned in the last few years with writing is like, I still have room to improve. I'm learning so much over the last year or so since I've started getting feedback from editors, and I've been able to do so much better. And this woman is not able to improve at all because everyone's just telling her that she's the greatest. Maybe she would be able to make edible lasagna if people actually are like, maybe you should cook the noodles a little more.
Yeah, exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. She can't even do the basics. And Strawbee Milk says she shouldn't have asked if she didn't want to know. And Stoner Star 42000 says the problem with this is that it's clear that everyone is heavily enabling her and lying to her. So she probably did think that OP was going to say it was her best because everyone does. That's why these situations crash and burn like this, is because eventually you're going to find someone normal like OP who has this weird little thing called honesty. And speaking of honesty, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Letting My Daughter's Omelette Win? Throwaway just in case. I'm a 34-year-old female and the mother of a 13-year-old girl. My husband, a 38-year-old male, is a passionate cook. Not professional, just at home. He makes most of the meals and takes pride and joy in cooking. My daughter recently took up a cooking course at school as an extracurricular. The other week, they learned how to make some omelets, and she's been doing it with a friend a couple of times at their place. She was really excited to make it for us and wanted to have it be a competition with her dad. I was appointed the judge. I thought that it was great that she was learning an important skill and having fun with it. It was obvious which one was which, as they both used ingredients that the other isn't a fan of, and they're both picky eaters. Now, I'm not a foodie or into cooking much. My husband's omelet was a little fluffier and a little better seasoned, but to me, they were both solid eggs. So I crowned my daughter the winner. I praised both of their meals, and I gave her the paper crown. There was no money or big rewards on the line, just choosing the movie for movie night. I thought that was that. Well, no, he got really mad at me, out of earshot, and said that she's not 5, and it's pathetic to let her win. He was going on and on about his pride and his hobby, and that I needed to stop babying her and to support him. I could have just praised her efforts, but not letting her wrongly win. Then he listed all that was apparently better about his cooking. My reasoning was that she did amazing. If she had served raw eggs, I would never have let her win. Also, she has always been a really picky eater and is not independent as we would like her to be, and now she's making her own food by herself with plenty of vegetables, and it's healthy. I just wanted to encourage her to keep going. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, and there's a couple of details here in the comments that I think are important for me to read. And Professional Face 709 says, You're the jerk, but I would have done the same thing, just to encourage her. But I also would have told my husband ahead of time, and definitely would have told him to go outside and touch some grass for getting upset. And Opie replies, I didn't tell him because I didn't really plan on letting her win. It was a blind tasting, so I wasn't even sure that I would know. It just happened that both used ingredients that the other doesn't like. And the other thing is that I only let her win because it was really close. If she had served some raw eggs, then I wouldn't have let her win. It was just because they were, to me, as an amateur and not a foodie, nearly at the same level. And Traditional Trade 795 says, You're the jerk. You could have said that she was amazing, but your husband takes the win because his was a little bit fluffier and better seasoned. She could have then spent some time with her dad to improve. Instead, you lied to her to make her feel good. Home is supposed to be a place to prepare for reality. If you coddle her like this, you're doing her a disservice. And OP replies, I suppose I should have. I don't really think I lied to her though. It was truly really good. The difference to me were minimal and insignificant. Like maybe his was a 9 out of 10 and hers was an 8.5 out of 10. I usually am not one to coddle people, but I guess I do when it comes to encouraging skills and hobbies that I think are great and important. Thank you. All right, I think that's enough of the comments for now. What do you think of that?
I don't think Opie's in the wrong. I mean, her husband should never have agreed to the contest if he wasn't open to the possibility he could lose to the daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, and who gets that upset about losing a low stakes contest? Like, did he really need the paper crown that badly?
Yeah, she can make him a separate paper crown. I think that he's acting incredibly immature here. I think that he needs to be the one that grows up here, not OP, not his daughter. He chose to enter this competition, and he lost by a blind taste test, and he's even mad about that. Like OP chose the one that she thought was better for them in the moment, and taste is so subjective that you can have a different taste one day to another day, right?
Yeah, well, I really don't like the way that he was like, oh, mine is better because this and this and this and this. It's like he can't be open to the perspective that his food may not be perfect,
Yeah.
and the daughter's food may be really good, and because like obviously he didn't try hers because hers had foods he didn't like in it, and vice versa. So he's making this assessment that his had to be better without even having sampled her food.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think that in order to make it a true blind taste test, maybe they should have done an omelet with the same ingredients. That way, OP wouldn't have been able to guess that. And maybe if he wants to do a rematch, they can set some ground rules like that. But I don't think, again, like an omelet it's kind of hard to mess up in a lot of ways. So I don't know that they like I don't know what he's so upset about.
Well, it seems like he just can't stand that he lost to his daughter. His pride and ego have been hurt because he can't fathom that he could possibly not have been the best.
I mean, if I were a parent, I would be overjoyed and thrilled that she was trying this and that her skills were so good that they were like, oh, close to what I was doing, you know?
Well, exactly. And that's the thing is like, I think Opie has the right attitude here that like the daughter is one, taking on responsibilities and independence for herself that she wasn't doing before, and making herself healthy foods with plenty of veggies. Like if it gives her a confidence boost, if it helps her be more independent, if it helps her eat healthier, then where's the downside?
I mean, I don't think there are any downsides here. I think that OP helped to foster this. And like she said, she wouldn't have given her the win if it wasn't so close. And I mean, given that he's been doing this for a long time, I think that a minor handicap here is perfectly acceptable to give
Right.
her.
Well, that's the thing is like he has no grace for the fact that she's just starting out. He's just like, no, I have to be the best. And it's like, dude, you have like what, 20 some odd years of experience on her probably.
Yeah, I mean, he should have just let her take the win and, given her a hug and been like, good job, kiddo. You did a great job, right? Like being a loving parent.
Well, yeah, it just seems like his ego is getting in the way of his parenting here.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say on this situation. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Centrifuge.
What? Okay.
Apparently
the wheel is the dad.
the wheel has been possessed by the father. All right, folks, it's tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Where do lizards go when their body parts fall off?
Well, I would imagine they would go to the chop shop.
The retail store.
Oh, the retail store. That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Special Sunday, folks. I hope your Sunday is off to a special start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on foods or recipes.
If you're going to ask for critique on your food, you need to be open to the critique.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.